Welcome back, guys, to yet another interview. And today I am here with one of the best musicians in LittleBigPlanet, Jim Noir. Can you go ahead and tell us a bit about yourself before we get into the questions?
Well, I'm Jim Noir. I'm 42 years old. I'm a musician. I've been doing music for 42 years, and my song was featured on the computer game LittleBigPlanet, and the rest is history. And now I'm here.
So speaking of, the one holy grail, right? My patch, that is, that has been a staple in the LittleBigPlanet community for a very long time. A lot of people are kind of curious behind the origins of the song cover. Can you explain that a little bit? Specifically the purple song cover that has the lighthouse in it.
Well, that's the album sleeve, Tower of Love. That's my first album. And where did that come from? Oh, well, I'm not sure if I could say, but it's well, I might as well. The song that I wrote called Tower of Love was originally called Towel of Love, because I found a skanky towel in my friend's house where I was recording the piano, and I just named it that because I couldn't think of anything else. Obviously, we couldn't really put that out as a title when it came to release the album, so my management wisely changed it to Tower of Love, because it kind of I was making it on a sort of an old PC tower as well, so it kind of links to that, and it's got a few different meanings, I suppose. And then the artwork itself was designed by my very good friend Gareth Mellington. He's also a musician, but he does a lot of sleeves and mastering and all sorts of things. And he did a lot of all the early sleeves, I think, really. He's a really great graphic designer. And when we saw the tower, the lighthouse thing, it was like, yeah, that's it. It looks great. So it all worked out nicely somehow.
I think this is a very good segue into kind of the lyrics behind My Patch. As you know, the whole song says, if you ever step on my patch, I'll bring you down. I'll bring you down. What is the meaning behind these lyrics, and where did you get the name My Patch?
If I remember rightly, I actually kind of sort of stole it a little bit off my best friend Batfinks, who is sadly not with us anymore, but he used to write a lot of great music as well. And I think it was just on a weird mini disc. We used to swap mini discs every week and just sort of hear what each other were doing. And I think he was just playing like a ukulele, and he was just going, if you ever step on. It wasn't quite the same melody, so I'm not letting him have it. But the sort of nucleus of the lyric was, I think he just said it, like, if you ever step on my patch, or something like that. And I just thought it was funny, so I kind of just used it as a bit of fun, really. There's not a huge amount of meaning behind it. I remember, like, when I was younger and I had to sort of explain it at the time, I would take on a kind of slightly fake persona of pretending it was like an English gangster rap sort of lyric, where I'm, like sort of quite quaint, nice countryside gangs who fight each other. So they'd sing something like that rather than, Tupac or whatever.
I noticed for My Patch, there were several sort of music videos made on YouTube for that song. And I want to ask if there was sort of a I guess you could say like a submission contest behind my patch, because it seems like some people ended up making their own music videos for my patch and ended up
Right.
kind of like uploading them, and then almost made it sound like they were for like some sort of contest, like a
I'm not sure. I mean, I've not actually seen any that. I mean, there's two that I'm in, so they're kind of official. But I've not seen. I don't know if I've seen any for my patch. I've seen for other songs, like there's a guy who did a video for Computer Song, all this amazing animation, and I was just like this blown away, couldn't believe it. That somebody just done it for fun, you know. But my patch, no, I think they were. I can only think of the two that we did, and I still think the first one's the best one. It's just dead stupid and simple, as running around in a forest. But it was filmed on 16mm film, so it looks really, really lovely. Whereas the other one, I think we did another one like a year later, I think, because we were trying to be big professional record label sort of thing, and yeah, we spent a lot of money on it, and it was not as good. I don't think. Sorry to the director if you're watching. He'll understand.
Was the second one the one with the giant chicken at
That's
the end of it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think my memories of it are slightly, you know, they're not as nice, because I had to sort of walk around with egg all over me for about 3 days. So it wasn't the most fun thing to make. And also, yeah, after watching, I was just like, well, I don't get it. I don't get what it means. Why am I always running around in these things? That's all I ever did. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. And speaking of kind of like, you know, things that we sometimes don't understand or things that we sometimes misconstrue, this is an interesting one. Lots of people in the LittleBigPlanet community, you may or may not know about this, I actually thought that the album cover for Tower of Love sort of looks like a guy or a spacesuit instead of a lighthouse from far away, because it kind of has the shape of a person when viewed from afar. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that's weird?
Well, do you know, somebody said the same thing, but it was somebody said it looks like a dog. And, you know, because it's got like a big collar and it looks like a dog. And as soon as I looked at it, I went, oh my God, I can't unsee that now. It's just a dog. It's absolute genius, really. But I don't know if it was intentional by the artist, but it's certainly a great optical illusion sort of coincidence, if it wasn't. But for all I know, he probably did design it like that. Yeah, no, somebody mentioned it like a dog, and I definitely agreed, because, yeah, it's weird.
But about the song itself, just being in LittleBigPlanet, how did it feel hearing your song, which became one of the most popular songs in the community, by the way, specifically when you first got the game, especially knowing it was not only used in the story mode, but also in community levels? Did it actually make you happy, or how did it make you feel?
Yeah, I mean, at the time, I remember going to buy it, and because I wasn't given a free one. Can you believe that? I had to go and buy it on the day it came out, and because I was just told that my song was on it. I know nothing else about it other than that. So I just, you know, went and bought it, took it home, and just thought, I bet it's sort of hidden away somewhere. And it's on like level 2. It's like this amazing sort of position for it to be. And I was like, I can't believe it. It's like, this is huge. You know, everything. Because I think, you know, for years I just said, I'd love to get my music on a computer game, but I never quite knew like what game or how you could do that. You know, it was always like FIFA or something. And then over the years, like FIFA soundtracks have always gone a bit downhill, and I always thought it might be a bit lame to be on a FIFA soundtrack now because it's just sort of weird library music that nobody's ever heard of. But yeah, to be on something quite as creative as LittleBigPlanet, it's such a mad game. You know, I was so happy that the game was excellent as well. I was like, wow, I'm part of this. It's great. But yeah, and then weirdly, you know, I remember like I was kind of sort of not disappointed, but I was like, oh, I'd love to get on the second game if I can. But I don't know, you know, it just never happened really. But it turns out all the music sort of carried over, didn't it, with the levels? So you could still play it and hear it and stuff.
Yeah, backwards compatible.
That's right, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on the topic of the guy who picked out the song, did you know who Kenneth Young was before your relationship with him? And how do you feel about him being picked to select your song to use in the game?
Well, I'm very, 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 very appreciative of Kenneth Young for picking my song. I'm not sure, you know, I presume it was some kind of label push or something by, I was on Universal Publishing at the time. I don't know if there was something to do with Sony or whatever, but I don't know, it just seemed to be the right, that time and that kind of music just seemed to fit really, didn't it? I think it's like the last time you sort of got stuff like that.
Did you make any levels in LittleBigPlanet?
Yes. I mean, I don't think they were, I don't think I was going to get a job at Media Molecule with my levels. But I used to try and make more sort of like musical rhythm sort of. I just thought, well, this is a really good way of making a kind of drum machine you could just run through and have like all the little speakers sort of popping off little samples and stuff. So I tried to do that really more than anything. And I can't really remember if, I mean, I used to spend hours doing it, but I don't know if anything was any good. I certainly didn't expect anyone to play them or anything other than me. But yeah, I think it was always really terrifying, really, because you go online and sort of see what other people have done in a similar way, and it's just like amazing. And you're like, how have you done that? You know, it's like they're just computer game programmers who like professional. So like, you know, and every time I'd find a new sort of community level or something, you'd be just blown away by how good it is, and you know, sometimes better than the actual game. But I guess that was the idea as well of the game, really.
Right.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And were there any like memorable levels that you can remember, like the most memorable ones that you worked on? Of course, you mentioned that your levels mainly had to do with music, but were there like one or two notable ones that you can remember vividly in detail?
I mean, as I say, there weren't like levels as such, as in there wasn't really much game mechanics. I mean, I did try to do some of those, but as you know, just opening and closing doors and things, I was just like, I don't know how to do this. But planting like 500 speakers across the level and running past them, trying to make some daft noises. It was more just kind of that, and just seeing how complex you could get it, try to make some kind of Aphex Twin sort of beat or something. I'm not even sure if what account it was or anything, but I mean, presumably they're still there. You know what? It's funny. Weirdly, before you even asked to do this interview, I'd just sold like about 120 PS3 games, and that was one of them. I don't know why I didn't keep it. I should have done really, but I just thought I might as well sell them all. But that would have been really good to have a copy of before this interview, and then I could have had a look. But
Well, so
Yeah.
so about that, you actually don't need the physical game copy or even a digital game copy itself to be able to have other
Oh, if
people
it's
play your
published.
levels. Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't remember my account details. I don't know. It was, I probably had 3 different usernames since then. I don't know. I can't remember what it was.
So it must have been a while since you've been on like PlayStation, or anything like that.
On PS3. Yeah. I mean, I've still got the actual console, but I've not got the games anymore. But and I've just sold the PS4 as well. I'm not really bothered with. I'm basically going to miss out a generation, I think, because I've just bought an amazing new laptop, which was supposed to be for gaming. So I bought a great gaming laptop, and then all I've done on it is make music. I've not done any gaming whatsoever. So I've got a sort of a wasted 3080 graphics card, not doing anything. Even that's old now, isn't it? 3080, what's that?
Right, because they have the 5000 series now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure what the difference it makes, but
there is quite a difference, at least with the more like AI machine learning features. But going back to your levels, maybe at some point, we can try, if you can remember later in the interview, we have a few more questions to get to, but if you can remember like anything about your level names, like what they were called.
Oh my god, no way.
We would be able
Do you know what?
to trace them.
I'd rather people didn't go searching for them, to be honest, because I'd rather just leave it in mystery and because if they are really terrible, then I look like I'm just a liar.
No. I mean, so here's the beautiful thing, right, about LittleBigPlanet is that no matter what you create, the fact that you decided to create it is what matters. I mean, yeah, sure.
Well, I used to actually really enjoy finding the levels where it was a bit more like what I was doing, which is really sort of amateurish and not quite finished and things like that. I really like those, and also the absolutely mind-blowing technical masterpieces that some 14-year-old has made. I remember when, it's funny. I'm not sure if it's actually in the game itself, because when I first sort of happened across one of the levels where it's like a race, basically, just a car, you're like, whoa, what's this? It's like a new game. And it was just bonkers.
And so going into favorites a little bit, I think that would be an interesting trajectory to go down in terms of levels, because I'd assume you played some of the community levels, because you were talking about how lots of people have made mind-blowing things. And so if you can recall, what would you say are like some of your most favorite levels that you remember playing in the community at all?
See, this is why I should have kept the game. It's funny. I mean, it's do people? I mean, it's hard to explain. Like like LittleBigPlanet 2 is sort of like just a nice gentle upgrade on the first game, and then the third one, it's I think that's the last one, isn't it? And I'd say, as I say, just sort of happening across sort of like newer, different game mechanics where you thought like, oh well, that's it. They can't possibly do any more than that, and then you suddenly find some user-generated level that's totally different. It's going backwards and upside down. There's a car flying, and it's like, whoa, this is crazy.
Let's see. Going back to the story mode, right? So you mentioned how your song was in the second level.
Yeah.
The story mode. That second level is called Mircat Kingdom.
Yes.
And it's in the savannah with Zola as the curator, the lion character. And what's interesting what's interesting about the Meerkat Kingdom level is that your song not only plays throughout the entire level, it plays through a specific part of the level where there is, and this has been a bit infamous since the game's launch, there's a part of the level where there's kind of a strip club.
Yeah, it's amazing.
What do you... What are some of your maybe more detailed thoughts on that? Did it shock you when you saw that?
It didn't shock me. I was just like, I just thought, well, you know, this is what a lovely kids game this is for the first sort of level. And then straight away, you're in like a pole dancing rabbit strip club with my song playing, and I just thought, this is insane. Even now, I'm like thinking, what were they thinking? You know, that could have been. I mean, maybe, you know, if it had generated controversy, maybe that would have been good for the game. But I don't think it was overly sexual or anything. I think it was kind of, I don't know. I think, to be honest, when I first played through it, I didn't really notice what was happening. I was more excited that my song was playing. And then I think my friend said, have you seen what's happening on these poles? I was like, oh God, oh my Lord. Yeah. And so yeah, it was a lot of information to take in at one time. Yeah. But because it's funny, like there's not really anything like that for the rest of the game either. It's not like it's sort of, it was like a weird sort of cheeky bit right at the start. And it just fits beautifully. Because usually I don't really like the sound of my music with other things. I don't know why. It just never sounds right to me or something. It's like it's sort of stuck on rather than together.
And
but that kind of works really well.
Right, and that's an interesting parallel because for a lot of people who played the game, right, growing up, now that they're kind of adults, isn't that crazy? I'm starting to get there. Like a lot of people think that it fits really well. And that's kind of the dilemma between the artist and the listener. It's like you're always going to have maybe a differing opinion of what the artist thinks compared to what the listener thinks, and sometimes you will end up with like the same sort of mindset, like this does sound right to both of them. And about other songs being played in the game alongside your song, right? Because in the Savannah, you not only had my patch in Meerkat Kingdom, you also had Daniel Pemberton's Rock the Jungle, I believe in the Burning Forest level. And I wanted to touch on that a bit. How did you get to know Daniel Pemberton through the game?
Well, I think I just emailed him or something. I don't know how. I think at the time he wasn't really kind of that well known. So I think he had like a sort of general website of all his details on it. You could just could have phoned him if I wanted to. Probably that would have been probably a bad idea. But I probably sent him a silly email, and he sort of had he seemed to have a similar silliness to himself that I tried to have sometimes, and I don't know. We do it. I'm always like shocked if somebody has heard my stuff really, and so when he sort of said, "Oh wow, I really like your stuff too," it was like great. But his music, I can see why he's gone so far now. You know, he's really hit it out of the park. But that's because he's just got, I don't know, he's just a melodic genius really, but in a slightly different world to me, I suppose. I think maybe I made a mistake of trying to do the pop music. I should have done live music, like film music, like what he does. But there's only room for one Daniel Pemberton. But I think he's a genius, really. I mean, I can't remember if it was when I bought the game or I might have seen an advert or something, and it had the Orb of Dreamers on it, which is obviously the classic theme track. And I think that is just a masterpiece of music. And when you sort of listen to it and sort of, because I can sort of take it apart and hear what it's built out of, and it is really simple and sort of a bit sort of grotty, which I like. It's not made with a big orchestra or a, massive studio. It's just sort of quite a nice lo-fi homemade thing, but it sounds grand and massive. And that's because the music does that, does a lot of the work. And yeah, wow, to write something like that, I would pay anything to, I've tried millions of times and it never works. So well, I've got a whole folder of failed Orb of Dreamers in my computer.
Well, honestly, it's about iteration, right? Like iteration, because, I mean, even if you end up with a perfect piece, I still think a lot of artists are like, this could be better than perfect. It could be perfecter, perfectest, right? And about Orb of...
And he'll be sick of that song as well. If you said that to him, he'll go, "Oh God, that song."
Well, isn't it crazy to think that his Orb of Dreamers track would not exist without Dean Wilkinson? Because we interviewed him, I believe, a week back, and he was the one who actually came up with the Orb of Dreamers and the Imagisphere and the Serene Umbilical Cord. And so he was the one who essentially pioneered that concept, and then Daniel Pemberton got the concept and created the song from that. So it wouldn't be what it is today without Dean's influence too. And it's so crazy to think that so many hands, like your hands with My Patch, have left imprints on this game in a multitude of ways. And so it's just really interesting to hear like everyone's perspectives of how they had their...
with My Patch, that song wouldn't have happened without several other sort of strange coincidences all happening at the same time, which is the lyrics just being on a mini disc, the fact that I had to write something, the fact that I had no equipment, and my friend said, "Oh, you can quickly do it here." He was like asleep when I wrote it, and it's strange how things work out like that. Because when you really try to write something and you think it's a masterpiece, it's usually a big load of rubbish because you probably built it up too much in your head. So I think the trick is to not even think about it. Don't even think about it. Just get it down.
Yeah, let it ebb and flow. That's the trick. Yeah,
exactly.
And apart from My Patch, what song out of all of the ones you've made would you say is your favorite, or a song you made that you would recommend people to listen to?
Out of everything that I've ever done?
Yeah, I suppose.
My favorite song. You know what? Oh God, what strange. I should know this. What am I going to say? Well, you know what? My new single has just dropped. And it's called Out of Sight. And you can stream it on YouTube. It's got an amazing video as well, made by my friend from Montreal, Go Habs. And it's got a wicked video and it's a wicked song. All right. So yeah, Out of Sight by me. That's a good one.
Cool.
Very pleased with that one.
We've always, again, we've always loved My Patch. Jay and I are big fans of it, but after checking out more of your music, we found a few songs that really stood out to us. Which include Timepiece, Old Man Cyril, Fishes and Dishes, and Kitty Cat. And
Right.
all your tracks are pretty cool, right? But these ones really stand out to us. So, what's the inspiration behind those songs?
Well, I think stuff like Kitty Cat and there's another one called Zupa Duper. I think that whole EP actually was sort of around the time. Oh no, was it? I can't remember. It might have been something else, but I think Kitty Cat and Zupa Duper. They should have been on like a Little Big Planet style game. I think they're in that sort of world. And funnily enough, I think at that time as well, I was asked to write. Well, I was told I was asked to write like the opening theme for the Muppets movie, which obviously came as a bit of a shock. And long story short, I made a total disaster of it, and I couldn't really do it. So yeah. Oh, and also I had a weird hard drive explosion, so a whole album disappeared, and I had to write some more stuff, which turned out to be the Zupa Duper EP, which has got Kitty Cat on it and other things. And it was much better than what I'd actually lost. So that's nice when that happens. But what were the other ones? Oh, the other ones are on Jimmy Show.
Yeah, Jimmy Cho's album.
The Old Man Cyril and Timepiece, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you picked those two, because those two are probably my favourites off that album, and I don't think they are in many people's, because they're a bit weird. Not the people, the songs.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a strange album, that, I think, because it's got a lot of sort of, I think it's kind of 60s Jim Noir style thing, but then there's a couple of like electronic-y ones like that, like Old Man Cyril and Timepiece, and I like those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I try a bit of everything. I don't really have a set style as when I write, but I do sometimes have a bad habit of trying to make things into a thing. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but I don't really like things to sound too random. So there wouldn't be like, a different style on each tune or something on an album.
Right. I mean, what would you say is your favorite genre, just personally, in music?
Well, it changes over time, I think. I used to be, and always was, electronic music, but I don't know what happened. I mean, obviously when I was growing up, I loved rock. I loved the Beatles and Beach Boys. So I do a lot of harmonies and things in my music. But yes, as I was going to say, like, strangely, like the last few years, I just don't really listen to that much music anymore for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know. It's like I've got a fear of music. I don't know what it is, but I still make it, and I also like sort of what you would call more mature things now, I suppose. Like I'd much rather listen to something like John Barry or Ennio Morricone or something, some nice orchestral music, rather than banging drill and bass, which is what I would have listened to 20 years ago.
Yeah. Who would you say is
I actually just sold a lot of my records.
Oh, right. Well, so I'm intrigued. Who is your favorite artist in music? I mean, I know you said you don't really listen to other people's music anymore, but like over the span of time that you have listened to music, who's your favorite artist, would you say?
Well, I don't know. I mean, personally, the music that's moved me the most is John Barry, I would say, and it's strange because I don't know. I'm not sure he would be many people's, favorite ever. the James Bond guy. But yeah, I don't know. I found that his music has just strange things in it that sort of make me feel weird and cry and laugh and spooky and all sorts. There's nobody that can do that, really, other than the JB. But and I don't know. I think I just I appreciate people who try to do something different. Or I mean, I don't know. I mean, times have changed really in the last few 10, 20 years, where the cutting edge 20 years ago would have been your Aphex Twin or Ortega and things like that, whereas now I wouldn't even know what it was, because it sounds like artificially made tomato soup. But you know what I mean? It's like I hate it because it makes me feel like I'm an old man. Like I don't understand this music. Whereas I used to listen to the most insane experimental music and be like, I get this. I totally get this. But then as you get older and you listen to people, I don't know. Maybe it's just not as good as it used to be, but it's not for me to say.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you say is your favorite song in LittleBigPlanet, specifically apart from yours? Can you remember the song titles, or even just like how they sounded, the progressions?
I like the Go Team one. The Go Team.
Get It Together. That's what the song was called.
And they've actually stolen a song from me, and this is the first time I've publicly said this, so they better watch out from my lawyers. I can't remember the name of the song that they what their song is called, but it's exactly the same as mine, and that's not on. So I'm just trying to get myself a bit more time to think. No, I don't. I can't think of any others. Can you name some, and I'll say yes.
Let's see. So, I mean, obviously, earlier I mentioned "Rock the Jungle" from Daniel Pemberton.
Oh, I mean, just every single one of Daniel Pemberton's is great.
Yeah. And then Kenneth Young and Matt Clark, they were the composers for the game specifically, so they made all the interactive music. That includes the Gardens interactive music. It has that really, everyone loves it, that epic flute solo. I'd have to send you the song link so you can hear it. Everyone loves that piece. And there was also
that's interesting.
The wedding, I think, the wedding music as well. But yeah, it sounds like Daniel Pemberton is one of your favorites.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it was just kind of it does occasionally happen where because it's sort of, I don't know, I'd never really heard of him before, and I presume he was doing a lot of stuff before that, but it was just kind of like, wow, I really like this, and that's rare. It's sort of rare sometimes when that happens. So I was like, well, I've got to get in touch with him. Don't know why he would want me to talk to him, but we sort of have threatened to well, I said I'd go to his studio or whatever. We've never done it, but he lives in Hollywood or something now.
Yeah. Are you still in contact with him, or has it been many years?
I can't remember the last time I spoke to him. We just used to occasionally message on email, really, and I'd send him some tunes and whatever. I think I don't know. I think when he started doing things like the Blade Runner soundtrack, I thought, probably best not, bug him now, because he's gone super pro. but that's kind of inspiring in a way. I was kind of like, right, well, I want to do that as well, so I'm gonna try somehow. So so indirectly, I feel like I've become a better composer because you just set your target a little bit in a different way. Yeah, and also it's kind of like I could do that, like that feeling of it's not out of reach. I think I've always been slightly over ambitious, but I think you've got to be sometimes.
Right. Well, I mean, it's also a little bit of a different kind of subfield, right? Because it's more for TV and film scores. And I mean, what's interesting is I can't talk about it too much because I don't know if it's NDA or not. But I'm actually working on a short film right now. Who has a composer? His name is Mark Killian, who wrote music for it, and
Right.
he actually worked on Pitch Perfect back in the day, I think. Some well-known TV shows, mostly targeted towards teens, I think, and then young adults. So
Right.
he's definitely been in the space for a while, and so I respect. I think it's quite an honor to be working on something that he had his hands on. So it's pretty cool to think about that. But anyway, going back to LittleBigPlanet, I know you said you couldn't remember much about your favorite levels in the community, but the story mode, it sounds like you played at least a decent bit of it. What would you say is your favorite level in the story mode?
Again, you've put me on the spot really because it's been so long. I completed the first 3 games. By the way, which is why it's so annoying that I can't remember a single thing about them. Can you? I don't know. You're gonna have to remind me. Which is the game? Like by game, you'll have to remind me. Which is the one where the sort of menu, the level select is like a sort of it's like a giant tree or something, and you have to keep jumping up to get to the next sort of porthole. I think that's the third one.
It sounds like you're talking about the map a little bit. Yeah, the map in LittleBigPlanet 3, the adventure maps.
Right.
Sort of scrolled horizontally a little bit, I think, but you could also go vertically up and down too.
All right. Yeah. I think you had to like swing up to sort of like ledges where there was like a wormhole or like a boss, not a boss, like a character where you'd go and talk to them and they'd say, we need to do this. Whereas, yeah, I don't know. Either way, I'd still think the first is the original and the best. Because it was so different, when it first came out. It's so unique.
Right. Would you say generally it had like the best story mode levels from what you can remember? Like it was just more maybe memorable, maybe more enjoyable, perhaps?
Well, I think if I played them all again, all the way through for the first 3 games, I would probably say the second one probably had the sort of nicest balance of insanity and not too. I think this applies to all computer games. Is when they've got so far, they have to keep adding new toys and things, and they sort of lose a bit of magic when there's too many things to play with. So I'd always veer towards the first 2. But the second one, is that the one where you get like a new sort of gun thing, don't you?
It's the Create-nator, I think, is what it's called.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And so that was like, oh no, what have they done? But it actually kind of works, so it was good. But And yeah, it's nice. It looked a bit glossier. I'd be interested to see what it looks like now on my old PS3, but I've not got it. But I presume it looks okay. What do you think?
Yeah, of course.
The graphics.
So let's see, Little Big Planet 3 wise, like the PS4 for Little Big Planet 3 definitely has more rich graphics for Sackboy stitching and things like that. 2 and 1 are very much similar in that same boat. So I'd say they're about the same. And on the topic, by the way, of you not having your PS3 anymore, it's actually, not a big deal because now, and I can send you links to these resources later, there's actually an emulator called RPCS3. And this would actually be perfect for your gaming laptop. What it does is you just download it, and you can install like a copy of Little Big Planet, a digital copy, onto the emulator, and then you can actually play Little Big Planet on your PC, on your computer.
Is that legally? Is that?
Yeah. As long as you're.
I mean, I should be able to play whatever I want, however I want.
Right.
I did an advertisement for Ginster's pasties. They're like, pastry, and I didn't get any free pastry either. So.
Oh, what?
People think they're doing these adverts and they think it's all free stuff. It's not.
Oh goodness!
Sorry, I keep kicking my mic.
Oh, it's all right. But back to what you said about adding new toys onto the existing game, right? As the game grows, I think limitations are something that definitely have to be enforced for it to breed creativity, or not to have to, but to maybe make it more to encourage more creativity, I suppose is the best way to put it. So, and I mean, it sounds like, you specifically must have liked just the fact that Little Big Planet 1, you had less to work with, but it meant that you had to work harder to achieve what you wanted at the end of the day. I mean, you couldn't have animated characters until Little Big Planet 2, right? With the Sackbots, the sort of NPC versions of Sackboy that you could record and customize. So it's definitely an interesting thing. Did you ever play Little Big Planet PS Vita and PSP? Did you ever play those two games?
No. I played about half of the Sackboy adventure. But I don't know, there's something about it where it was just different. Again, I don't know, I'm a bit picky when it comes to games.
Right.
Yeah. But no, sorry, no, I did. What did I have? Oh no, I think I've only ever had a PS. What are they called? PSP. A very long time ago, and no, I'm all about full massive screen gaming. I can't really play on those little things. I think even when I had a Game Boy, in early 90s, it wouldn't be long before I wanted to play on the crappy Spectrum on the TV because it was just bigger.
Right. About Sackboy Big Adventure, so you mentioned that you played that. What do you think about? Because since you're a musician, I'm sure at certain points when you've played games, you've probably maybe kind of critique the voice acting a little bit, maybe, depending on, how engaged you were. What do you think about Sackboy having a voice in Sackboy Big Adventure compared to him not really having one in Little Big?
Does he have a voice? I can't even remember that. What's his voice like?
So he makes like these like grunt noises whenever.
I mean, he doesn't like talk in English.
No,
So.
no.
Oh, right. No, I didn't think so. Yeah, no, I'm okay with that. That's fine. As long as he's not going, hey, I'm Sackboy.
Right.
Because that would be weird. Yeah, no, he's supposed to be fairly, silent or, like an alien. Yeah, I don't know. Who is he anyway? Where does he come from? Is he just an old pair of socks?
Well, see, that's the interesting thing, because Dean mentioned that Sackboy kind of just, like, canonically in the world within the Imagisphere, he is the central idea in the Imagisphere, and he has existed since the Imagisphere was created. So he wasn't really... He was kind of born as an idea. Isn't that weird?
Is he God?
That's what I wonder.
He might well be.
He might well be.
Wow.
So it was interesting when he talked about that. And going back to Sackboy Big Adventure, what would you say it was like playing that game compared to the LittleBigPlanet games? Do you think the sort of 3D style, and especially with the music too, the way the music was integrated into the levels, do you think it was more kind of productive, more engaging, or do you think it took away from the LittleBigPlanet element?
Yeah, I think personally, because I think there's already games sort of like that. There was at the time anyway. I remember, oh God, what was that other one called? There's a few where it's sort of that slightly isometric view of like running around and, yeah, no, I much prefer the sort of, because like I think on the original games, it took a while to sort of figure out. I mean, what is this level? How is it? What's the actual space that is happening here? Because and especially when you try to make your own level, you're like going, what is this? Like, how long is it? Where does it go? How far back can you go and stuff like that? It's really an odd way of sort of looking at a level of a game. For the first time, sort of realize that it's got weird depths that you don't really see. So yeah, so the Sackboy Adventure, I don't know, it was just a bit more sort of generic, nice generic game, but nothing nothing mind blowing. But the music is always great as usual, because like they obviously want to keep their IP. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
IP, consistent, which is good.
Yeah.
But I do think they should make another game though.
You think so? A new LittleBigPlanet game? Would you look forward to LittleBigPlanet 4 maybe, or Sackboy Big Adventure 2, or maybe neither of them? Would you prefer like a whole new reboot of LittleBigPlanet?
Little Big Universe. And yeah, I don't know how it would work. Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult because I think that once it is just packed with ideas, isn't it, already? So it's really hard to reboot it and go back to the start. Although, saying that, I don't know. I mean, look, what's going to happen with, Grand Theft Auto? After the last 10 years of like the online version of that just turning into just this nonsense madness, now they've got to sort of start again at the very beginning of like, right, you're not allowed to go to this island, you can't have loads of guns, there's no flying motorbikes, and it sort of doesn't work anymore. They've took it too far, really.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm still going to buy it, obviously.
That's fair. About Sackboy though, as a character, I'm interested. So as you know, PlayStation's mascot is Astrobot at this point, sort of.
I love that game.
You do? Would you say Sackboy or Astrobot should be like the main face of PlayStation? I'd assume Astrobot.
I don't know why they couldn't work together. Really, I don't know. One could, it's like, yeah, because you've got a nice sort of old-fashioned Sackboy, and you've got a futuristic Astrobot. Don't know. Yeah. It's like, what do you mean the face? Is this going to happen? Or,
well, no, not necessarily.
Or are we looking for a new face?
But like, more so what you would want to see out of PlayStation in terms of their branding and marketing. Right now, that Astrobot has taken the helm.
Yeah, I think it took a while though, because I remember getting the VR for that first game years ago, and I just thought, why is nobody talking about this game? It's absolutely mind blowing. But yeah, it just took forever for it to seemingly to take off. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't really know. It might have blown up a bit massive, but I didn't see much about it, especially not to the levels of like, being a Mario or a Sonic or something.
Right. But which of the Astro games did you end up playing aside from Astrobot?
Okay, no. Which of the Astro
games did you end up playing aside from Astrobot? Because I assume you played Astrobot.
It's just that game. That's the only one I've played in VR. And I think it might be the first time a computer game has made me cry. No, actually, I lie. That's the second time. Because
wow.
I don't know. I was just overcome with emotion, and this is amazing. I can't believe it. There's just a perfect moment where it was like the music was great, and it just looked stunning on my VR, even though it was rubbish for all other games. It just looked terrible. But this one, I was like, fuck it, Jesus, it was there. It was amazing. And yeah. Oh yeah. So I'll tell you the first time. The first time was at the end of Monkey Island 2, when when it turns out that it's all they were just in a circus ride and they're actually kids. A lot of people hated that ending as well. They thought it was a cop-out. I thought it was fantastic.
They thought it was cheesy or something. Yeah.
Well, they just thought, what a waste of time. I can sort of see that perspective. But I think they fixed it with like whatever the next game.
Right. Going back to LittleBigPlanet, I forgot to ask you this question because we were talking about favorites. DLC. Do you happen to remember maybe what your favorite DLC pack was?
DLC pack?
Yeah.
I don't think I got any. And if I did, what did they include? And how did you get them?
So, I mean,
really free, like the free ones, you mean? Like the updates?
Yeah, the updates. Yeah, the patches to the game where they added the new content. Like, for example, the Paintinator.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember that. How did that one work again? How did the paint gun work again?
So you were able to kind of, shoot these paintballs when you picked up the power-up, and they would be the color of your puppet, and you would hit targets with, like, the Paintinator switches on them, and they would go down as you hit them.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. I actually thought that was the second game, but yeah, no, that was... that was good without being too much... without being too wacky. Trying to think. It's funny because I used to like purposefully always leave my Sackboy just Sackboy. Never really dress him up or put any stuff on him. Because I thought, well, nobody will do that, so I'll be the only Sackboy probably. I like the idea of that, of being so sort of boring that you are like the most unique sort of character. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. Like I think I do that on all. If I ever play online games, you just see everybody with like pink and green stripes, cars and things everywhere. So I'll just like do like a nice sort of grey, boring looking car. It's, weirdly, you stick out more than anyone else because you're the only one who's sort of not expressing their insanity.
Right. No, that's fair. That's fair, yes. Actually.
So yeah, so sorry, so yeah, so yeah, so my Sackboy was always just Sackboy. So I think that would be a good lesson to all the kids out there is you don't have to show off like a big idiot to be cool. Yeah. Is it just one Sackboy? It wasn't like my Sackboy, was it? It's just everybody's. Or does everyone get their own one? I'd like to think that maybe.
Yeah, everyone gets their own.
We all get a person. Yeah,
Dean said specifically that you are your own avatar. So your Sackboy represents your avatar in the game. Okay. And then all of the Sackboys, like in the entire, Imagisphere are within the Imagisphere. And it's weird to think about too, because it's like I said previously that Sackboy was the central idea to the Imagisphere. So technically it's all of the Sackboys who have ever existed as a collective being the central idea, and then all the other ideas flow through the Imagisphere. I guess you could say through them. It's an interesting one. Dean went into all sorts of detail on that, and you can find that on our channel as well. His we'll be uploading his interview soon. It's really fascinating because, like I said, all the music, like Orb of Dreamers and Stephen Fry, even all of.
Yeah, I was just about to mention Stephen Fry because I thought actually maybe Stephen Fry must be God because he sort of sounds a bit like what God might sound like.
Oh, that's an interesting thought.
Well, he kind of introduced the whole game, so. Do you know Stephen Fry?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I've always been a big fan of him specifically because he voiced the tutorials in the game, and that's another interesting talking point. Did you ever play any of the tutorials in the LBP games?
I must have done the very first one. Yeah, I was trying to wring out as much enjoyment as possible out of the first game. And also, probably just thinking, well, my tune won't turn up for a while, so I might as well, take it at my own pace, do the tutorials. I pretty much always do tutorials. I think just for to save time because I know for a fact if I don't, I'll have to go and do them anyway. So when I realize I don't know what I'm doing.
That's fair. I mean, there are some aspects of LittleBigPlanet that are kind of weird, especially in 2 with the logic, all of the pieces that they added, and that goes back to the limitations. Like when you didn't have the logic, it was kind of just easier to understand how to build things. But with all the new the AND gates, the OR gates, all that stuff, it's now we can.
And he does the. He kind of explains the creative stuff, doesn't he, as well?
Yeah.
So that was really sort of helpful, actually, just remembering now, because it's Stephen Fry. So it's like, well, if I can't understand Stephen Fry, then it's me that's the problem. So yeah, it's really good. It's like having a nice old teacher sort of explain stuff to you.
Right, that's what Dean said. Yeah, it's like that's who
he's been the Scottish person. I watched one of these older interviews.
That was Kenneth.
Okay, all right. Oh, was that Kenneth?
Yeah.
All right, that was a really good interview. Yeah.
Yeah. Aw, sweet. Yeah, glad you watched it. But Dean wrote all of Stephen Fry's scripts. So he wrote not only the tutorial scripts, but actually what he says in the intro, the opening sequence.
Yeah.
This is the orb of dreamers and everything, and
Mhm.
the stuff when you get to your pod, like this is your pod.
Mm.
It's really quite fascinating.
Yeah.
To
I wonder if Stephen Fry knew what he was sort of saying when he was in the sort of voiceover booth. I presume he's done millions of things like that, though, where he's sort of explaining something he doesn't really understand. Because but yeah, I don't know.
probably like adding emphasis here and there at certain points and just going along with it.
Yes, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Did you ever remember seeing like any promos or trailer videos for LittleBigPlanet? Maybe like before the game or even after you started playing the game that kind of caught your attention, that maybe had your song as the central theme to them? Because I think there were...
I don't remember. No, I think the very first time I heard my song was when I played the game. And also, it felt like it all happened very quickly to me, where I was told about it and then it came out. So there wasn't really much build up to playing it. And maybe I saw one trailer a few days before or something when I found out that it was going to be on there. I don't know. I think maybe, in those days, my managers would sort of be vague about things because they didn't want me to get too excited or something. I don't know. So they say, you might be on a computer game. You may be doing this. So then, and then it happens. But then, so yeah, no, it all seemed to happen really quickly. And, and even then, it's only one song, but as you say, it's unbelievable. I mean, most of the people who comment on my, nowadays music stuff, you get a lot of LittleBigPlanet people, and I don't know if they're new or old players or what, but it's amazing how it just keeps going.
Right.
And, yeah.
Do you ever... I'm curious to know this, because I feel like I've experienced this before. I mean, I'm a software developer. I do stuff for, like, Elden Ring and whatever, but...
oh, wow. Cool.
I've experienced things where I make something, and people really love it. They can't stop talking about it, but then it becomes kind of... not the only thing, but, like... one of the main things. It's like what you're known for. It's like the main thing that people talk about. Do you how do you get past that as an artist? Like how did you manage to get past that, even still with all the people bothering you about my patch and whatever?
Well, I don't know. I don't think you do get over it. I don't think you can really. It's a blessing and a curse, definitely. But it's happened to millions of artists forever. And, just to have something like that one thing is more than I ever thought was going to happen. So for me to complain about it would be insane. But on the other hand, when you make a lot of other things, it is... you want to sort of go, yeah, I know, look, check this other stuff out. This is just as good. But I don't know. I think people just know what they like, and if they like that, they like that. Yeah. Oh, and it's actually the 20th anniversary this year of that coming out, the album coming out.
Oh, really?
So I might do something awful and release the song again somehow, but I'm not sure yet. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Maybe do a remix or something. You never.
Well, that's a dirty word, though, isn't it? I don't really want to.
Yeah.
I mean, what would that mean? Like, put a beat on it? I don't know.
Well, I mean, like, I mean, like, maybe even re-record the song. I mean, you never know, because with the new...
Yeah.
There might be a new Sackboy Big Adventure game or a new LittleBigPlanet game if they ever pick up on the fact that you kind of remade the song, maybe with a twist. Might be like, ooh, let's bring that into the...
It would be nice to do it, to remake it. Yeah, that'd be good. But then, I don't know. Yeah, I'm always wary about doing something like that and then nobody cares. So you kind of go, well, Agaba, I thought you all liked this song. It's like, no, we don't like that one. We like the original. So you sort of, yeah, it's difficult to know. But yeah, as I say, it probably might do something with that.
Yeah.
Be interested to revisit.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. It'd be great if you and... Wouldn't it be awesome if you and Daniel Pemberton could collab on something?
Wow. Yeah.
Make a song.
It would. Well, hey, I'm happy to pick up any of the loose ends. If he can't write the whole soundtrack for the next game, I'll definitely pick up the slack. Yeah. No, I'd love to. Yeah, definitely. But he's a busy guy. I think. I don't know.
Well, I mean...
For all I know, he might be drunk.
All right, Mr. Noir, I've got one more thing for you. Which is better, Coke or Pepsi?
Oh, I mean, are we just talking the straight, full-fat Pepsi or Coke?
It can be like...
Oh, no alternative versions of each drink?
It can be alternative. That's fine.
Oh, well, I like Pepsi Cherry more than anything. I like cherries. I don't know why. I've never had a cherry in my life, I don't think. I've never eaten a real cherry.
Really?
But I love cherry, the flavour of cherry. Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't know why it's the only with Coke, really. Yeah.
Wow, your whole life...
I mean, I wouldn't have it in, like, whiskey and cherry Coke.
Right? But, wow, not one cherry?
Yeah. Don't think so. I've never had a kumquat or a... I have had a grapefruit. What else have I not had? Probably a lot of things, but no cherries. Yeah, cherries passed me by. I think maybe probably because I bet they don't taste as nice as cherry Coke. Like, I loved apricot in yogurt, like little tiny bits of apricot.
Yeah.
But when you buy an apricot and eat the apricot, it doesn't taste as nice, I don't think. Just my opinion.
Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, was Jim Noir. It was an absolute pleasure having you here for an interview to gain some valuable insights into your wonderful music career. And, of course, the thing that started it all with My Patch and everything that came before and after it. And just all of the various intricacies with music and how LittleBigPlanet kind of pioneered some interesting waves for new artists to come into the scene and all sorts of good stuff. So so stay tuned, guys, for more interviews and coming in the next few weeks, and of course more content on the channel. We'll keep on posting, and so make sure to stay tuned for all of that. And again, that was Jim Noir. Absolute pleasure. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.